Hello all. Can you hear me okay? Thumbs up if you can. Good, bad. Okay. So this is just a general forum for adults to kind of just talk about whatever might be on your mind, especially in these circumstances. This is something that we usually try to do at forum. Sometimes we do them at conclaves also, but just burning issues, whatever you may have on your mind that you're thinking about. There are some quick notes that I would like to mention, and then I'll just kind of pass it off to the group, and you can ask your questions. With me also is our associate advisor, Steve Herron, and our past chief, Josh Squirrel, who is almost old. And some things I'd like to talk about. Forum event this year. The COC did decide not to hold that event in November at Camp Lazarus. So we may try to schedule a Council of Chiefs meeting for that Saturday. That's kind of up in the air because that's also the same weekend, I believe, as a national induction weekend. So we'll play that by ear for next year, but there will be no forum this year. We have scheduled forum for 2021. First weekend in November, it is on the calendar. It is for Camp Lazarus. We were supposed to do an ACT conference this year also as part of the high performing lodge metrics. We will still do that, but it may not be this calendar year. We have talked to the folks at National, and they are being forgiving just because of the circumstances. We're going to schedule our ACT conference for the winter COC. So in January or February, we're hoping that's going to be in person, and we're hoping to do it in conjunction with a Wheeling Nailers game. But as with most things these days, that's tentative. We may also have to do it virtual. We have learned a lot, I think, this weekend on how to do things virtual. So I think that's definitely something that we could do if we need to. Conclave for next year is scheduled tentatively, meaning if we're allowed to do an in-person conclave, for May 14th through 16th, 2021 at Seven Ranges Scout Reservation, hosted by SIPO Lodge. The last two things I want to mention are that the NLS in London, Ohio was canceled / postponed. I just yesterday received a message from our region chairman, and he would like to reschedule the October NLS to either May 7th through 9th or May 21st through 23rd. Those are the two dates he threw out. So I don't know, here in a few minutes, you can give me your opinion on which date might or might not work for your lodges. The last thing I want to say is that for this virtual conclave, we are at 306 people registered. We've seen involvement in it started off a little bit slow this morning for people logging on. We had about 50 for training. But into this afternoon, the numbers have really clicked up. We had up to about 100 or so in our midway sessions, our various sessions. So we are getting some traction with this online event. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions about how this is going, what's going good, what we can improve upon. But please also, please be a little bit patient with us, as this is the first time we've done anything like this. And so there's bound to be a couple of hiccups. Largely, though, I'm very impressed with the youth that have planned their events, that are executing their events, and also the adult support staff that's here at Muskingum Valley Scout Reservation, helping to broadcast all of this. From my perspective here at camp, there have been some hiccups, but it's going rather well. So I'd be interested to hear what your perspectives are back on the other side of the screen. And really, unless there's any further questions, and I'm sure there will be some, those are my prepared remarks. To review, no forum this year. We will have an ACT conference in the winter. Conclave 2021 is scheduled May 14th through 16th. We may reschedule NLS, so let me know which dates you like the best, May 7th through 9th or May 21st through 23rd. And we're about halfway through this online conclave, and it seems from my perspective to be going okay. With that, I'll just open it up to the group. If there's a question that I can't answer, we've got Steve and Josh and also some lodge advisors here physically that might be able to help. So what's on your guys' minds? All right, any questions out there?
May 7th through 9th was the
other point? 21st through 23rd.
7th through 9th is one of our primordials.
Okay, so SIPO Lodge says that May 7th through 9th for potential NLS is not the best choice. So they're going to go for 21 through 23. And largely this is out of our control. This is the region's decision, but they did ask for feedback. I don't know that for sure. I seem to think it is still on the calendar. I can check and get that back. He asked if the December NLS for you guys at home in Michigan was still on the calendar. I believe it is. I don't know for positive, so I'm going to double check.
So I mean, it comes down to whatever weekend the region is what it is.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. We'll probably bump it. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, if I had said no, I really want to know, I wouldn't hear them increase about not coming to the DMV. Honestly, they're probably going to get more bang for their buck than NLS. The lodge is going to get more benefit for them going to NLS coming and being another.
So, what's feedback from you guys at watching Conclave from home? Do you have any opinions on how it's going? So no news is good news. There are 17 in the conference.
Well, I'll speak up to that. I know that obviously we can't meet together, but my sons are experimenting with the online conclave, and it's with mixed reviews. Due to no fault of anybody else's, I know that we're all new to this, but in some regards, you know, I know some people or some of the youth are in school, and some of us, even adults, are at work, and some of us are teleworking. I just know that it's a different experience in person than it is online, but everything seems to be not without hesitation or without difficulty, but everybody's working through those difficulties, whatever they may be, on the user end as well as the presenter end, and I think it's coming out well. I will say that it's coming out well.
Thank you. Yeah, there have been hiccups, and we are doing our best. And there is a give and a take for not being able to gather in person. But I do appreciate the feedback. Hopefully, we can do a conclave in person next year, May 14th through 16th at Seven Ranges. That's the goal anyway. One thing that I wanted to mention is that all of this is being recorded. And so what we're going to do is rebroadcast this stuff next week. Keep registration open. And if there's something you missed, or if there's something you had technical difficulties in, or if there are airmen that couldn't make it today or work or just couldn't sit in front of their screens for an entire day. You can catch some of that stuff this next week, and we'll be promoting that out on social media, primarily Facebook. This website, the live.conclave.oa.c4.org website, will be active through the end of next week, and all of those links will work. So if you want to revisit a training that you didn't go to or see the show again or what have you, you can just click on those links and you'll see the content that we recorded this weekend.
So to answer a previous question about the
That's good to hear.
That's supposed to be hosted in December from the 11th through the 13th in Michigan is still in the registration system, and there's still opportunities to register. So definitely promote that to your youth.
Did these guys hear that?
They should have.
Okay. If you didn't hear, Josh said that the December NLS in Michigan is still on. Anything else that's on your guys' mind having to do with this weekend or just Order of the Arrow in general?
Has there been any conversation run things all over?
I know.
Has there been any discussion about the high performing launch program for 2020? Are we going to get different metrics, new metrics that's going in the track?
Toby asked if there's going to be any change to high performing lodge this year and next year. I don't have any information on that. I don't know if you know anything about that, Josh.
Everything that I've heard is that it's going kind of continue, but that it might be skewed a little bit more. Where we're expecting a similar program, it just might be tailored a little bit differently.
Okay. So we're going to expect more changes at the time frame for updated metrics. We'll start forming them during the next month or two. It's still running.
So I assume all of that will be broadcasted out before all the recharter material, or with the recharter material. So likely in late November, early December.
The shot that maybe the feedback on John's point is, if I would venture a guess that if the metrics that existed last year were in play this year, there isn't going to be a single launch in the country that's going to hit that high performing, or they're not going to hit thriving. They might hit high performing, maybe. But if we start taking a look at them now, we still have a couple months left in the year, there's an opportunity to squeeze in an activation event, or squeeze in a brotherhood conversion, or get some go on the bandwagon to get news-based membership numbers or whatnot. But if we don't know what those metrics are going to be until December, there's not a lot of time to put forth the effort to get those numbers improved. So knowing sooner would be better. And I'll be honest, I haven't looked at, if I were to run the numbers now, where we would be. Like last year, we looked at them in September. So about this time, and we were short on a couple criteria and did events or took effort to get those numbers up. And all the things that we were short on, we then hit. We fell down on something else, which we never had fallen down on in the past, and it's just okay, whatever. But it gave us a goal to work for. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
We can reach out to the people managing the PMP and get that.
Yeah, I mean, because my thought would be, and not that I'm encouraging the concept of the sandbag. That's not my intent here. But if I were to look at it, and I would think anybody with the Logic Advisor Cash would have the same thought process, would be, if I were to look at my numbers now and see if I am so far off, I'm not going to work toward the PMP goals. I'm going to work toward quality program for members of the lodge. At that point, if it's a matter of brotherhood conversion, as an example, I'm not going to find a way to squeeze one in and get 6 people to convert if I'm nowhere I'm gonna have fun events to get people engaged.
So, I don't know if you can hear this conversation that's happening on site, but essentially it's, are there going to be new PMP metrics for next year and how do we focus in on those? I don't have an answer for that. I did take a note and I can follow up and see if there's any information on that. But from what I've heard, there's no new metrics yet. And the conversation here on site is there's probably not too many high performing lodges or thriving lodges out there right now under the old metrics in the world of COVID. So let's hope that there will be new metrics soon, and I can ask that question.
I've got a question. We're getting ready for preparing election practice. Any of the public requirements, majority of some.
So there was something. So backyard camping
Okay.
is now available, and all of this can be found on oa-bsa.org.
So when
I believe it's 5 nights for backyard camping, but that is something that is available this year, and so there are
Hello?
numbers on the requirements. But
Okay,
I
hold
believe
on.
the first class is still and the equivalent ranks there within. But they did change the ratio for youth to adults from 1 adult for 3 youth to 2 adults for 3 youth.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm listening to the
Yeah, I don't
adult
have any further information on long-term
right
camping.
portion right now. It's on. But the good thing is everything will be replayed and I can get into the website next week. A lot of it's being done through Google. Some of it's being done through YouTube. So it's kind of interesting. And then like right now the youth are being challenged to do things and then they may win gift prizes and stuff for doing those events. Mr. Webb is on. I don't know who all is on.
Mrs. Powell, can you mute your microphone? You're currently talking to everybody.
So did you want me to get ready to head out then? Did you want to? Oh, okay.
Miss Powell, can you mute your microphone?
Updated PMP metrics and just some general feedback about this weekend's event. Is there anything else that's pressing that you have questions on, or we need to revisit, and then I can get some more information for you? Hearing none, I want to say thank you to all of you guys that are participating at home. Thank you for continuing to support our program and support our youth. It's a very small event here at Muskingum Valley Scout Reservation in person to put this event on. We've got about 30 in camp, but the registration is something that I was not expecting at all. 300 registered. I was initially thinking we'd be lucky to have 100. So I really do think that has a lot to do with the interest and the support out there in scouting and in the Order of the Arrow. And I think that has a lot to do with how you back at home are supporting your programs and supporting our youth. So thank you. And let's continue to adapt in these interesting times. If you do have any thoughts or questions, you can always reach out to me. I can be emailed at bseaton@oa-c4.org. And if I don't have an answer, I can find an answer for you, should you have a question or concern. Yeah, I think that's about it. So thank you guys. If there's nothing further, I hope you enjoy the rest of Conclave. It's an interesting conclave. But hopefully next year we'll be back to something a little bit more traditional. And that's all I have. All right. So thank you.